His father, Alois Schicklgruber, was born out of wedlock, but eventually changed his name to that of his stepfather, becoming Alois Hitler.
Imagine if he never changed his name. I already forgot. That's how not memorable it is.
Ray Kroc, the guy who was the founder of the McDonald's, not the restaurant, but he founded the McDonald's Corporation.
Yeah.
He says that the most important part of the McDonald's was not the idea, not the burgers itself, but the name. Hello guys,
Hello everyone.
this is Waldemar, and this is Weronika. Yeah, and today we are coming back with your favorite series on this channel, which is obviously Oversimplified.
Indeed.
The by far most views, most subscribers, comments, likes. So yeah, but you didn't enjoy the Emmy War. We don't know why.
Yeah.
It was very interesting, very good.
I think we
video.
got some comments that it wasn't as high quality as the older videos of Oversimplified. But thank you to the one person who said that even though they think this video is not good, they will still watch us because they like watching us. That made my day. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, today is the very first video of Oversimplified channel.
It is?
Yeah, it's the first one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's about Hitler. So he started right off the bat with the Hitler.
Big bumps, okay.
Yeah, so it's a very short one and it doesn't go too much into details. I mean, personally, I know more about Hitler than you can learn from this video.
You think I will know more too?
No. Sorry. No, but I read his biography. I mean, it's a biography. It's not autobiography. It's a biography.
When?
Based on one of those.
How did you read it?
On the Kindle, sometimes.
So we're laying in bed. You're laying with Kindle and you're reading about Hitler.
Yeah.
There are worse things, I suppose.
I will try to look the title and I will recommend it to you guys in a description because it's a very good read, very interesting. I found it always interesting how we all know a lot about Hitler. I mean, maybe not everything, but even if you would ask someone who's not that much into history, he would know some facts, like he would know that he was fighting in the First World War.
And almost everyone knows he wanted to be a painter because it's a meme.
Yeah. People know that he wanted to be a painter. People know that he was rejected from the academy in Vienna. Some people know that he was homeless in Vienna. The fact that he was, he became a chancellor of Germany in 1933. There was this, I think, is the putsch the word in English?
You are overestimating my English knowledge.
You know, he started this uprising kind of in Munich in the 20s. I don't remember. It was 22 or 23, something like that. And after that, he was in prison. He wrote it to Mein Kampf. So, you know, people know a lot about him. But what I found interesting is people know almost nothing about Stalin.
Yeah.
And he is the guy from the same period. He killed much more people than Hitler did. He was also a ruthless dictator.
We should watch something because now that I think about it, I actually also don't know much about Stalin.
But yeah, I mean, I went into that, so I learned a bit about him. So now I'm smart as I was. But yeah, like about Hitler, we know so many things, so many stuff. And about the guy who lived in the same period, also a very famous person. Like people today, everyone knows who Stalin was. But facts about his life, like people know that, yeah, he was the leader of the Soviet Union during the war. He died a little bit after that. But beside that, people know that he went after, he became the leader after Lenin died. But there are not so many...
Yeah, that's as much as I know that they knew each other, but not...
Yeah, but and I will tell you, it's a very interesting story too. The story of Stalin.
Well, if we can find something outlet, then we can also...
Yeah, I don't know why the
together.
Oversimplified guy never did the episode about
You sure he did it?
Stalin. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't.
Also, I keep wondering if it's just one guy or not, because a lot of people, when they are talking about the channel in the comments, they're saying they. And I don't know if they're saying they because of, pronouns, or if they're saying they because there's more people involved.
Well, no, if I would guess, I think he started this alone.
Maybe now he has people who
But now, yeah, I think if I were him and I had, a lot of money from my videos, I would be such a popular creator. I think I would hire someone to, to do those little animations. Especially that you can notice that those animations are much more advanced.
Well, maybe he learned. I don't know.
Yeah, he could. And yeah, he spends a lot of time on those videos. So I would think that...
Stop roasting him.
I'm not roasting him, but I think it's... it says that he does those videos alone.
Yeah, with a lot more...
If he had a team of people, I think he wouldn't have problems uploading videos every month.
True. Especially if we were paying them, then maybe they would want.
Yeah, more consistent source of money.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to see this. I've been staring at Baby Hitler on my screen for long enough, I think.
How do you know it's Hitler?
I presume it is Baby Hitler because the title of the video is Hitler and it's the opening.
Doesn't have a mustache.
Well, if we put it here. Okay.
Yeah, he looks kind of... Okay, let's begin.
Haircut is similar.
Look at this baby. So gentle. So innocent. You'd think this child would grow up to become a good man. An honest man. Well, think again. Hitler was born Adolphus Hitler in 1889 in a small town in Austria-Hungary. His father, Alois Schicklgruber, was born out of wedlock, but eventually changed his name to that of his stepfather, becoming Alois Hitler. Alois was a mid-level Austrian customs officer.
Imagine if he never changed his name.
Yeah,
What was the first name? Shock.
It's enduring to that.
I already forgot. That's how not memorable it is.
Ray Kroc, the guy who was the founder of the McDonald's, not the restaurant, but he founded the McDonald's Corporation.
Yeah.
He says that the most important part of the McDonald's was not the idea, not the burgers itself, but the name. He said that the name was the thing he needed, and it wouldn't work if he took the idea from McDonald Brothers and started this under the name Kroc.
Yeah, it's the same in the UK. They have Weatherspoons, which sounds like a name of the guy, but it's also not the name of the guy. He just thought it sounded cool for the rest.
But McDonald was the name of the guy.
Yeah, of the other guys, but not his. Yeah. Okay, and now you can go back, and I don't pause. I'll keep my heads up.
Becoming Alois Hitler. Alois was a mid-level Austrian customs officer, not really rolling in cash, but certainly rolling in women. He married a rich, older lady, but then immediately started having affairs, including one with a much younger house servant. A few years later, he left his sick wife to be with his mistress, but since the Catholic Church didn't allow divorce at the time, he couldn't marry her. So he waited for his old wife to die and had a child in the meantime. Then his wife died, so he married his mistress and had another child, but then his new wife got sick, so he employed his much younger cousin Clara to take care of her. Then when his new wife died, he immediately got Clara, his cousin, pregnant, and then married her. In that order, you rock star. Clara and Alois had 3 children together, who all tragically died while in infancy. So when the 4th child, Adolf, came along, Clara spoiled him rotten. The Hitlers had 2 more kids, and the family moved around a few times, meaning Adolf had to attend 5 different elementary schools. Adolf's father was strict, quick to anger, and took most of it out on the eldest son, until he had enough and ran away at the age of 14, leaving 7-year-old Adolf to do most of the chores and get berated by his father. The result was a difficult relationship with his dad, while he was super attached to his mother, who worried over him and his health excessively. Hitler did well in school at first. His grades were good and his teachers praised him. He was popular with the other kids and enjoyed gathering them together to play war games. He also loved reading and particularly liked stories about cowboys and Indians. As he grew older though, he started to get into trouble. He was caught smoking once, organized a raid on a local orchard, tormented his pro-Austria religion teacher with symbolic gestures, displaying his allegiance to the idea of united Germanic people under a greater German state in defiance of Habsburg Austria. You know, the usual. All of this enraged Adolf's father, who punished him severely. The area of Austria-Hungary that Hitler lived in was once part of the German Confederation. and many of the people who lived there considered themselves to be German. Adolf tended to just go against whatever his father said, and since his father was an Austrian public official, Hitler got big into German nationalism. This enraged Adolf's father, who punished him severely. Around this time, a family tragedy struck. His 6-year-old brother, whom he loved a lot, died of measles when Adolf was 10, and was buried in the cemetery just across from their home. Around this time, neighbors reported a change in the young boy. Strange behaviors such as talking to trees and staying up late staring at the stars from the cemetery walls. He lost interest in religion, and his school grades started to decline, which enraged his father, who punished him severely. It also didn't help that he had just entered high school, and the cool city boys treated him like a rural peasant. He had to repeat a grade and had little interest in most school subjects, instead spending his time reading and drawing, which he was quite good at. One day his father said, "Son, someday you'll be a big balls public official like me." And Adolf replied, "No, father, I'm going to become an artist and soar high above the clouds with the eagles." This enraged his father, but by this time he was an old-ass man, so he just sort of let it go, and then died of a lung hemorrhage. Hitler just about passed his final semester and celebrated in the typical way, by getting blackout drunk and wiping his ass with the certificate. However, he didn't take the overall final school exam, instead just dropping out. The now 16-year-old boy was unemployed, without much purpose in life, and for the next 3 years he stayed that way. He spent most of his time at the opera with his only friend, August Kubizek. Kubizek later wrote his memories of the young Hitler, and said he was passionately interested in many things, felt he was in many ways better than others his age, was quick to anger just like his father, and an incredible speaker once he was ranting. When he was 18, he said a very sad goodbye to his mother and went to Vienna to take the entrance exam for art school. He failed. Soon after, he had to return home. His mother was sick, and her health was rapidly deteriorating. Hitler stayed by her side, and when she eventually died, the family doctor said he had never seen someone so overwhelmed with grief as Hitler was. Then Hitler returned to Vienna, still hoping to find a career in the arts, but he never did. Instead, without parental support, Hitler ended up on the streets. Now in his early 20s, he spent a few rough years living in and out of homeless shelters, making what little he could from selling postcards he painted. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when and how Hitler's extreme ideological beliefs formed, but his time in Vienna would have certainly played a role. Anti-Semitism was widespread in the city. The mayor, whom Hitler supported, was an outspoken anti-Semite. There were many right-wing anti-Semitic newsletters, which Hitler took a keen interest in.
I would say so. It's interesting. Well, first of all, the way that you already portrayed him, so you think of him as more human. I mean, I knew this fact, but it's also just, watching this story could be about anyone. Your mom dies, you're very sad, you do funny things at high school, and you're so bright. And I think it's interesting that, he fell into that kind of niche, because I don't know about you, but I know so many people who get into a specific niche or specific environment just because they met these people, but you kind of know it could have been anything else, because you're super bright, so you get in with, I don't know, people who are obsessed about music or something.
What niche, I mean?
That if maybe, then maybe if he, I don't know, if he met different people, would he still do the same things? If he wasn't subject to this ideology?
I think this ideology wasn't something that he inherited from being around people who had those
Well, he was reading, like they say, reading wildly, and he liked these ideas, but...
Yeah, and it was a very popular idea back then.
Yeah.
I think it was the other way around, like he had those ideas they lived very strongly inside him.
Oh, and then he stumbled upon people.
He stumbled upon the people who were very eager to listen to him and very eager to hear what he has to say about those stuff. And he was a very good speaker.
Yeah, because he liked Nietzsche too, right? I don't think they mentioned it here, but I think he liked his philosophy. I think he based a lot on Nietzsche, right?
I think
and
so.
His ideas about race. At least that's what I've always heard. That he skewed his philosophy a little bit.
Yeah.
Too much. The superior race and stuff.
Yeah, but from what I heard, he was anti-Semitic from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit, I'm messing something up. But I think that his friend, the August Kubizek,
the one that they mentioned at the end.
The one that they mentioned, his part in the Hitler cycle was much bigger than they say here, because they lived with each other for a long period of time in Vienna. And I think he was part Jewish or something like that.
Maybe they had a fight, and that's why he started hating Jews.
No. I think they even met after Hitler became chancellor.
Really?
And Hitler was very fond of him.
Interesting.
He was like, I hate all those Jews, but you're a good guy.
I mean, he was not even German, and he was saying all these things, so
I mean, he was kind of German. I mean, he was born in Austria, but it was in the time in Europe that, that the borders of the country weren't really the borders of a nationality who lived there.
Yeah, I just mean his heritage wasn't as clean as
Yeah.
he liked the heritage.
Yeah, but there is this myth that Hitler was part Jewish, and that's
I haven't heard it.
No, but that's not true. It's a popular misconception, but there is no evidence for that. It's about his mother. That his mother was in some part Jewish, but yeah, there's no evidence that. Okay. I think it's interesting that he was born out of incest. Like, if there was ever an argument against incest, it's like, yeah, you see this guy?
Yeah, but I think
you want your child to be like this?
I think at the time it was quite a bit more common than now, and still in some countries, cousins, depends how far removed. But
Maybe it was a good thing that the child mortality was so big back then. We would have more Hitlers now.
Imagine if these siblings of his that sadly died, if they were all.
But the siblings were from a different mother.
Yeah, but I meant they said that she had 3 children before him, and they all died.
Yeah.
And also, one more thing I wanted to say: didn't Stalin also have like very bad relationship with his father?
Yeah. There is something to look. If you want to become a dictator.
Yeah, don't go to buy milk. Just take care of your child.
If your father beat you, punished you severely, then had a good chance to become a dictator. And also,
in a twisted way, it kind of does make sense.
I mean, also imagine being Hitler's mom. Like, she never knew, but you are basically the mother of the devil himself. Like, there is no other character today like Hitler.
Like Rosemary.
Yeah. Like, he is the personification of evil in our understanding. I mean, yeah, he deserves that. But I think there is no other character in history, or even in fictional, or even a fictional character that is so much the definition of evil.
Oh, I don't think so either. Because you think even small children know who Hitler is, even before they learn.
And even if you will read the Bible, I mean, even the devil wasn't as bad as Hitler was. I mean, in all the Bible, devil, he kills very little people.
That's true.
And he was never like, oh, and we will have those places, we gather these people. I mean, you know where I'm going with that. But yeah, I mean, I think it will be a long time, and I hope it will never happen that someone will outshine Hitler.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he will be this symbol of evilness for centuries.
Conspiracy theories, and became a firm believer in the idea that there are many races in constant struggle with one another, the purest of which were the German Aryan people, and the worst of which, he believed, were Jews. Since Austria-Hungary was a multi-ethnic empire full of lesser races, Hitler wasn't a fan. So when he was 24, he moved to Munich in Germany to avoid doing military service, and for 1 more year he was a drifter on the streets, until something huge happened. In 1914, long-standing tensions in Europe erupted into the First World War. Crowds across Europe celebrated the news. Within days, Hitler volunteered for the German army. The war gave him a purpose in life. His fellow soldiers gave him friendship and brotherhood. Despite the horrors of war, Hitler considered it to be the best time of his life. He was reportedly a brave soldier and was awarded the Iron Cross, first class. He was also very lucky and had many close encounters with death. His luck ran out in 1916, however, when an artillery shell injured his leg. He went back to Germany to recover and was outraged to find a general apathetic anti-war attitude among the exhausted and hungry German populace. With the war turning against Germany, he returned to the front lines, but was temporarily blinded by a British gas attack in 1918. A month later, still recovering in hospital, Hitler learned of Germany's defeat and surrender. The terms of the peace treaty were tough on Germany. It had to pay a lot of money and lose a lot of soldiers. These conditions weakened Germany and humiliated the German people. Europe's borders changed after the war too. New countries were formed out of Russia's lost territory, Austria-Hungary was dissolved, and there was one big new country splitting Germany into two. Hitler, seeing the country he loved humiliated like this, said that hatred grew in him for those responsible, by which he meant communists and Jews, who he believed had stabbed Germany in the back by spreading dissent and anti-war propaganda back home.
So that was part one. Yeah, about that, I think even someone mentioned that in the comment, but it's also a pretty interesting thing to know that people in Germany, many people in the Germany back then, they didn't thought that the Germany was defeated, and they felt like they could really fight much longer and even beat the enemy.
Yeah.
And they felt that they were betrayed, and like the Germany was stabbed in the back by Jews, by communists, by certain group of people that you don't like, and that was the reason that Germany had to surrender.
Yeah, it was very.
And also on such a harsh conditions.
Yeah, I think it's always very good ground when people are angry, and then you give them someone very tangible to show that these are the people who are responsible for everything. And then also, if these people happen to have very nice houses and a lot of money, then that lends even better, I suppose. But then we had also this comment that I'm wondering about, where someone said that we should also look at Hitler in a different way, that kind of that the way I understood it, like right now with political support, that there was also a lot of people who did not support him, that there was this attitudes as well, that like, how could he have so much support? You know, when like right now you are in a democratic circle in America, for example, and you don't understand who votes for Republicans because you don't know people like that, or the other way around. And then it was there was a lot of opposing.
I mean, yeah, of course, there was this woman, for example, I think her name was Sophie School.
Oh, that rings a bell.
I don't know how you pronounce that in German, but she was sentenced to death and she was killed.
I think I remember.
Because she was a vocal opponent of Hitler and Hitler's ideas. So yeah, of course, there were people who were against him, but I think it's a very, very important thing to remember, and we must never forget about that, because for me, it's one of the most important lessons about World War II and period in Europe, was that Hitler was elected democratically. And it wasn't like it happened in Soviet Union or in many countries after the World War II, that the elections were rigged, they were, false.
Yeah.
And there was so much propaganda. I mean, Hitler won fair and square. And yes, of course, there were some propaganda in the newspapers that supported him. And Goebbels was already working for him. But he wasn't, the top dog in Germany. He didn't have all the power. He didn't control all the media. And yet, his ideas convinced a lot of people. And he won by a huge margin. Yeah, after that, he consolidated his power by force, by violence. That's true. But he became chancellor because he won the election. So that's one thing about democracy that we must remember, that it's not flawless.
It's who said that? It's the worst system, but it's the best one that we have. Like that. Yeah. Well, anyway, we will post the second part of the video in a few minutes. If you're watching one after another, right? We'll post it on the same day.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So you can click right onto the next one, even though it doesn't exist yet. It's kind of like time travel.
Yeah. Thank you, guys, and
Thank you very much.
see you in our next OverSimplified video.